All right, everyone watching, thank you for joining us today. My name is Brian. I lead marketing over at Cambrian, and today we're going to break down the Agentic Finance Landscape. Now, if you haven't seen this yet, this is a report that our CEO put together with a couple of collaborators and contributors from places like Coinbase, Virtual, Solana, Google Cloud, and The Graph. And one of the contributors to this report was someone I'm very lucky to call my colleague, Doug. Doug, I know you as the product lead as Cambrian, but for folks who are getting to know you for the first time, would you mind sharing a brief background and what you're doing today?
Sure. Yeah. I'm Doug Millett. I've been in the crypto space since about 2018, worked in everything from institutional staking all the way down to the DeFi trenches. So I've done a little bit of everything, spent some time at Blockdaemon in the graph ecosystem as well. And for the vast majority of this year, I've been part of Cambrian, where I've been working with Brian and some other folks that I've known for a little while in the space. And yeah, we've been doing as much as we can to bring Agentic Finance live.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you for that, Doug. All right. So what I'll do right now is I'll pull up the report that we've been talking about. If you guys want to read along, or if you haven't seen this yet, just head over to cambrian.org, and in the blog section, you'll be able to pull up this report. So it's called the Agentic Finance Landscape. Just to recap, our CEO, Sam Green, wrote this with contributors from a couple other teams. One of the contributors was Doug. So Doug's going to help us break down and understand what the report is, why it's important. So Doug, let me ask you, just in a few words, could you summarize what this landscape is, and what's the main thing it's diving into?
Yeah, this is a bird's eye view of the current landscape as we see it of agentic finance. And so that just means using some level of intelligence to help take financial actions. So we've broken it down into a few different categories, which I know you'll show below. The space is very new and can be difficult to sort of make sense of. So the idea of this report is to help people kind of get a start and encourage them to get in and start trying some of these things out.
Awesome. Awesome. I appreciate that, Doug. So I see a couple of categories here. I imagine we'll have a moment to really drill into them a bit later. So maybe one thing I'll do right now is pull up one of the other graphics in the blog, which I guess you could call the Intelligence Autonomy Compass or the Intelligence Autonomy Matrix, whatever floats your boat. Doug, would you mind filling us in on what your approach was? I know a couple of folks contributed to this, but when you were looking at this, what was your approach, and where does this X and Y axis of intelligence versus autonomy play into the criteria for what you were looking at when you were researching agents? Why is this graphic important for us to understand?
Right. Yeah. The approach was to get in and try as many of these things as possible and use as much data as we could find to really figure out what's going on under the hood. So yeah, we have two axes here. You can see on the x-axis, it's a sliding scale of rule-based versus intelligence. And this is just our opinion or best guess on how much these different products are using just basic math versus LLM-based intelligence or simulated intelligence, depending on how you look at it. So that's the x-axis. And then you see on the y-axis, we have autonomy. And so basically, it's just showing which of these only provide information from a research perspective, basic inference, versus the actual ability to execute transactions. And some of them do both. Some of them are fully autonomous, and some of them are just informational, and plenty of them, most of them live somewhere ambiguously on the scale of both of these two axes. So it's difficult. It's a moving target. We have a pretty good idea of how a lot of them work. We've made a lot of educated guesses, and these agents and products are constantly changing. So it is a moving target, and we expect that over time, this graphic will probably change significantly, but we're pretty confident in the current state of it right now.
Gotcha. That helps a lot, Doug. So if I'm understanding correctly, the x-axis ranges from kind of like Boolean if-then logic to carry out certain things, whereas the right side, the AI side, leans more on like LLMs and other up-and-coming AI technologies. Cool, that makes sense to
Correct.
me. And these four quadrants, there's no Yeah, none of this is a representation of quality. It's just understanding how it works under the hood. Is that right?
Yeah, absolutely. And a lot of them actually probably should be overlapping with each other. We wanted to make it as pretty as possible, and so this is not meant to be an exact science, but more of sort of a compass to get you started. If you are looking for something purely informational, this should help you. If you're looking for something that is using some level of intelligence and autonomy, then the top right quadrant, for instance, should be able to help you get a start.
Got it. Got it. So maybe we should add objects are not to scale to
Right.
understand their placement. Gotcha.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So, Doug, I think what would be helpful next is to really understand the categories of these agents. So the compass helped us understand how they kind of work under the hood, whereas these help us understand what exactly they do. So
Sure.
maybe one thing I'll do now is yeah, maybe we can just get a brief like one-liner on each of these categories, and then I'll turn the screen share to you. So maybe we could take some of these for a spin. How does that sound?
Yeah, absolutely. So trading and portfolio optimization agents are agents, typically chatbots, that you can interact with and they can take some sort of action for you. The LP agents, liquidity provisioning agents, it's basically passive yield, stablecoin yield on most of these. Lending agents are going to be similar. It's going to be passive yield on lending. Prediction and betting agents are agents that sort of interact with prediction markets. So the ability to speak to an agent and sort of get intelligence on what's going on in a prediction market and get assistance with placing bets. And then in the bottom right, we have sentiment, fundamentals, news, and TA agents, and these are going to be more informational.
Gotcha. All right. I appreciate that, Doug. All right. So I will stop sharing my screen, give the opportunity to DJ over here. And yeah, let's get an actual look at how some of these agents really work and what people can expect from what kind of user interface are they doing?
Let's do it.
Yeah.
So let's start off with the trading and portfolio optimization agents. So a couple of the ones that we really have interacted with a lot and are in a very usable state right now. One of the first ones is Banker. So I'll pull up Banker right now and let me just ask it, what can you do? And it's going to think about that for a second and respond to me. But you can see through this interface, I have some dust laying in some wallets here. I've noticed it's really good with cross-chain swaps. So you can just say, swap $5 from Base to Solana, and it'll do that very quickly. It
Mm-hmm.
has a audit trail of my activity here. So let's just say swap from Base to Sol. And so it's going to read my intent. It understands, obviously, what Base and Sol are. It doesn't have to ask me to clarify, and it's just going to go ahead and do that. You can actually set up automations. I haven't done that yet, but you can do things like repeated daily buys. You can also, just chat with this bot and set take profit and stop loss orders. And yeah, so right now it's actually figuring out what my intent means, and now it's going to figure out how to actually do this cross-chain swap and bridge the assets, and it's going to look for the best prices. And yeah, it's very cool. It just kind of abstracts away a lot of the pain of using DeFi. And I think obviously things will get faster over time.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha. So Doug, and I'm gonna assume here that, or at least we should share this with people who are watching. Not all agents are interacted with via chat or natural language, right? Like some you might have a custom GUI, or you might have an API that you connect to. This is just one version or one flavor rather of interacting with an agent. Is that right?
Yeah, for sure. Terminals seem pretty popular. It's kind of the easiest way to interact with an LLM. A lot of these live in Discord, Telegram. Some of them have just a web UI with no chat, but you can interact with it in Telegram or Discord. So it varies, but in general, with these LLM-based agents, you're going to see terminals like this. So while we're waiting for Banker to do that, let's take a look at another one. We have Agent Hustle here. We'll go ahead and pull that up. And this one is very similar. So we kind of have this nav bar here on the side. Let's just get a latest market update from Agent Hustle. And while it's doing that, There's a couple more features here which are interesting. So we have memory. So I was experimenting with it the other day and getting it to set up some paper trading strategies just to kind of see how it works. And it has memory here, so I can go back and see these strategies that Agent Hustle and I came up with together, and then revisit them in the future. And so that's pretty interesting. And right now it's giving me a market update. It's pulling in sentiment data, I assume mostly from Twitter. And just kind of telling me some of the top kind of tokens right now. So let's go back to Banker, and yeah, so it's done. It's swapped $1 of ETH on Base to Sol and Solana, and then it gives me the transaction here as well. So it's nice to kind of have that traceability. You can see that this transaction was successful. I can see that there's a sender address here and a recipient address here on the right. And I can go back and see these actually reflected in my balances here. So yeah, very cool, very useful. If you just want to do cross-chain swaps, it's removes a lot of the pain of doing so.
Nice. So this kind of like abstracts, hopping between different tabs, approving a bunch of transactions or messages in your wallet. It's just like having a personal assistant for things that you can outline pretty like explicitly. Do X across Y chains. It seems like it has a pretty good handle on that.
Yeah, very interesting. Yeah. So yeah, going back here to Agent Hustle, I can do similar actions here. So I can easily do cross-chain swaps, buy and sell assets, and there's some other interesting tools here. So under this tools section, there's this alpha feed that's actually just pulling in alpha from top accounts on Twitter. So kind of, kind of useful to have that feed. And then we have this conditional engine that I haven't played around a lot with yet. But yeah, there's a lot of functionality here that's worth kind of going in and experimenting with. So let's go back to the landscape and let's look at the next category, LP agents. So one of the top ones here that we've been looking at and seeing a lot of hype around is Giza. So Giza is an agent framework, and one of their flagship agents is called Arma, and this is basically a stablecoin yield agent. So I just have $10 in here now, which I threw in yesterday, so not a whole lot going on here to see yet. But
Mr. Moneybags, this is one that's
yeah, exactly. This one is going to be a lot more autonomous. And so you basically just set it and forget it. You put some funds in, and it's going to rotate your yields around different stablecoin yield pools. And so over time, I think this one, it's saying Arma net APR is 15%. And so that's saying that you're going to get 15% as it rotates around. So really interesting. There's a few different ways of getting stablecoin yields right now. And it's unclear, I think, at this point, how much not autonomy, or how much intelligence is being used. I think we're of the opinion that these are a little bit more math-based right now. But they are getting pretty high yields, and it's going to be interesting to see how these hold up during market downturns, right? Because things are looking pretty good right now. So I think the true test of time over the next couple of years is going to be, how much will these returns maintain, as we see fluctuations in the market. So probably, like all things DeFi, move with caution. But if you have some extra stables laying around and you want to experiment with getting some high yields, could be a good option for you. And let's see the next one on this list. So let's move over to lending agents now. So under lending agents, we have Fungi. So this one is another one that's going to be very autonomous. So this one is going to be very autonomous. So you can just see, like, you just put some funds in, and it's basically just giving you information on your funds that you've inserted. Really not a whole lot to do on this one. I think there's this history tab's not going to show much for me right now. And this is just essentially doing a similar thing as Arma. It's giving you yields on lending protocols, and it's going to rotate your funds around different lending protocols and try to keep your APR as high as possible. And then another one on this list, let's see, we have Ziff AI, very similar. I haven't set up anything in this one yet, but again, you just kind of put some funds in, it rotates them around. This one has a pretty high average APY right now. I'm not sure how much this one is fluctuating, but yeah, another interesting one to take a look at if you're more interested in the lending side of things. And then let's see, prediction and betting agents. So this is a fun category. This is very experimental. One of the main ones that's getting a lot of traction right now that we've been taking a look at is Billy Bets. And so you can see it has this terminal interface, and what it's doing is it's working off of a prediction market. So you can chat with it here. You can kind of ask it like, what's going on in baseball today? And then I can look at, let's see, I'm going to look at this on the left here. It's kind of sort of works like a sports book. So you can actually select baseball, select the league, and then some games will load, and then I can pull them up and actually place bets. And so let's see, it's going to give me some information about what's going on in baseball today. I could say, okay, I'm going to pick the Colorado Rockies, and it's going to add multiple bets to my bet slip. And then right up here in the top middle is a sliding scale. It's kind of like a map that kind of shows all of the games that are happening today or different events that you can bet on. Yeah, so this one is it's really interesting because, these prediction markets can be kind of tough to make sense of. But if you're just interested in sort of basic sports betting and you want to do so on a prediction market, then this is a kind of a fun way to interact with it. I'm not going to place any bets right now, but you can see I can kind of go through my bet slip here, and I can just kind of place all these bets at once or place individual bets. And yeah, I think that's about it for this one right now. It's very interesting. I believe with Billy Bets too, you can actually place bets on Twitter. I know there's another one that's not on this. It's not on our landscape, but we've been keeping an eye on called PrediBot, and it's a base prediction market, and you can actually just tag it on Twitter and it'll place a bet for you. So kind of cool. So yeah, let's keep moving through the list here. We also have this category just for sort of sentiment and TA. So let's take a look at, we'll look at Messari Copilot. And so this one is just a really powerful sentiment analysis agent. So you can just chat with it. Let's look at some of the trending questions here. So it gives really quick responses. Let's say like what, so let's say like everyone is targeting an October top for this current BTC cycle. What are the chances we top in October versus 2026? Let's see what it thinks. But this one's interesting because it has access to all of Messari's data. So it's got a lot of data to go on, and Messari is one of the biggest, data providers to institutions in this space. And so that it's the responses you get are being backed with the bulk of Messari's data. So, and I already ran into an issue here. So again, these things are experimental and not perfect, but yeah, in general, I've had pretty good luck with this one, kind of just chatting with it and getting general sentiment knowledge about the space. And then let's see, the last one we can take a look at is Deep 42. So let's
that one's familiar to me.
Yeah. So we have, let's see, I'll pull up the Discord here.
And Deep 42 is one of these agents that you can follow on Twitter, just so you guys are aware. It's at Deep 42, all spelled out without the numbers as words. And that's an agent that's powered by Cambrian's API.
Yes. Yeah. Very cool. So the main way to interact with Deep 42 right now is through Discord. And so you see we have a bunch of our Discord members here asking all kinds of questions. But actually, let's take the same question I just tried to ask the Messari one. Let's see what Deep 42 thinks. And to actually interact with it, you have to tag Deep 42. There we go. And like all of these things, it's still experimental, right? So it's going to get better as we go. We're learning as we go and seeing, the different use cases people want to use it for. But another fun one to use right now. So definitely encourage people to go in and give it a try.
Really nice. Yeah. And it's my understanding that there's features growing all the time. I think a cool one that we haven't spoken enough about is generating token report cards for Solana tokens. Maybe that's something I'll share in a follow-up after the stream is over. But okay, Doug, this has been super helpful. I guess just to wrap things up, one question I was thinking of asking you was, let's imagine it's 12 months from now. If you were somebody who had not read the Agentic Finance Landscape report, what's something that you would regret?
I would regret not having experimented with some of these. I think that It's still early days. It's difficult to kind of choose. You have to use your time wisely, right? I mean, looking at, the landscape of crypto over time, there's always projects that come and go. And so this list is going to change. There's going to be new things that get added, but there's definitely some names on this list that will become very mature products over the next couple of years. Which ones? No idea. I think I would regret not having experimented because we're still in that experimental phase. It's still risky. You're still going to run into a lot of kind of weird little issues, but we strongly believe, I know I do, I know you do, I believe everyone else on our team believes that within the next 1 or 2 years, we're going to see a pretty widespread rollout of agents managing funds for people in different ways. And so I think when that starts to happen, I would regret not having experimented with some of these things in the past. So I have that knowledge to kind of bring in to these production level products in a year or two.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, Doug, I really appreciate you explaining it to us today. I know we'll have a couple more of these coming up, especially with guests from some of these projects too. So I'm looking forward to that. So if you guys want to stay on the cutting edge of agentic finance, just follow Cambrian Network. Also follow D42, our agent. If you like what Doug shared with you today, follow him at XRHOTA. And yeah, stay tuned for some more streams like these. Thank you guys.
Thank you.